Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Copeland, and I'm a dating coach who loves helping women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s find love again. And today I want to talk about this question that I'm always asked. Do men over 50 only want to date younger women? It was a great question, and I really wanted to get you some answers because it is out there. It is on the profiles, but don't let it stop you because men may say that, but they will still date women their own age. And you do want good pictures because that is what they're attracted to. So I went out there and I did a little research and I asked men I had dated in the past whether or not this was actually true, that men only wanted to date younger women. And I started with an old boyfriend of mine who is 11 years older than me. And he told me that dating a younger woman was truly an ego thing for him. He felt like women who were younger would make him feel more youthful and keep him more active. Well, when we were together, he and I were from completely different generations. Although he was on the cusp of being a baby boomer, he was actually at the tail end of what is called the silent generation. And because of that difference in how we were brought up, which is very common when it's a 10-year plus difference in age, some of our values and our views about life were different, and it created tremendous conflict, which ultimately ended our love relationship. We stayed friends, but when we broke up, I suggested to him, hey, why don't you start dating women closer to your age? You'll have more in common with them than you and I had. And at first, he was really taken aback by this. But guess what? Now he dates women whose ages are within 5 years of his. And it turns out that these women are not only great, they also keep him on his toes, often way outdoing him when it comes to activities. And this is a part that men feel, just like you probably feel, that people close to your age will not be as active as you are, but they are. But I must say that it took some gentle pointing out the benefits for him to make this switch to someone closer to his age. Now, I asked a friend of mine, also a guy friend, who has taught me so much about men and what they're looking for. And when I posed this question to me, he said men have this idea of what they want, but most men still look at women their own age and will contact them regardless of age if they are attracted to their picture online. And I mentioned this earlier. This is why you always want to have really good profile pictures. They make a huge difference. Now, when my friend was dating, he would date women up to 5 years older than he was. And his girlfriend now is probably a good year older than he is, which of course isn't much. But he told me that the problem is women post pictures that make them look old. Now, sound familiar? I want you to think of all the men you thought looked old enough to be your grandfather, right? It's hard to see that when you look at pictures. He said that alone, those pictures where women looked older from how they were dressed or not smiling, that it did stop him from continuing to look at her profile, regardless of her age. And this was from younger women too. But he said that when a woman looked appealing to him, he would look at her profile and contact her if he liked what he saw, regardless of her age. Now, I also talked to my old high school boyfriend about this subject since I knew he had dated younger women. And by the way, he was the ultimate bad boy. He was super handsome, and women often dropped their numbers written on business cards and napkins into his hand. He would tell me these stories about this. He would be at dinner with someone else, and they would just come up to him and slip these pieces of paper into his hands. Well, after his marriage ended, he admitted he checked out younger women. He thought, oh, this will be fun. But what he found was he just had nothing in common with them. And once the lure of sex with a younger woman wore off, he was bored. Again, it goes back to that generation thing. And music, just think about the music that differs between generations, or how you lived your life. It is different. And he found that with younger women, he had just was bored by what they were interested in. So he ended up going back to women closer to his age. Now, I've brought up this older man, younger woman subject to a lot more men than just these three. And their answers are always similar to what I shared with you. So, what can you do to get these men's attention in your profile? Like I mentioned earlier, you have to have a great picture that makes you look like you have wonderful energy and that you are fun. Don't put pouty pictures up or non-smiling pictures. You only want pictures where you're smiling. And by the way, you only want pictures just you in it. Because if you're there with friends, number one, he can't figure out who you are, and you don't want him comparing you to the other women in the pictures. Now, your profile has to trigger a man's heart to say, hey, she might be the one. She sounds pretty amazing. And when you read your profile, does it make you sound amazing? Or is it just a plain old resume of who you are? And finally, invite a man to write you at the end of your profile. Say something like, if this sounds like you, I would love to hear from you. Okay, if you have any questions about this or any thoughts about what I've shared with you, I hope you'll post them in the comments below. And be sure you subscribe by clicking that button. And if you need help, I'm always here to support you on this journey, whether it's coming here and watching YouTube videos or joining one of my programs. You can find out more information about those down below in the description. In the meantime, go out there and have fun dating. I believe in you, and I know you've got this.